Hi and welcome to another video from me, CrystalDBG. Been a bit behind because life, but let's have a look on week 12 and week 13 results of our NFL fantasy and week 14 predictions, as we're back to family rivalry and I'm a little bit more relaxed over this one. So let's see how I did and let's see what the future holds. So let's have a look at week 12, and as you can see, a huge score by myself, 150 points against 112, and it was almost the highest of the week, apart from Jordan with the Cleveland Steamers, who are a bit of a dangerous team. I think they are the team to win the tournament now with all the injuries and things like that. So that was a win for me. I was very lucky, to be honest, because I got a trade. So let's have a look at what I traded and going forward. So, and week 13, got that another win against Ramsgate. Unfortunately, his team just sort of fall apart, and he's got some good players that should have good predictions, but just didn't get it. And so did I, to be fair. I had some players who performed very badly, who should have performed very well, but didn't. So let's have a look at them too. So we had Kyler Murray only getting 11 points, Prescott on the other side, just a QB1 every week at the moment at 27 points. Austin Ekeler, if you're injured, don't play. If you're playing, then please sort it out. Whatever's going on in the running, I need you now. I'm in the playoffs. Tony Pollard, 16 points. He's just getting loads of volume at the moment and good touchdown potential. Singletary, Pierce back. It seems to be a very split backfield. He does seem to be getting some of the passing, but not enough to justify starting. But I need to start him now. So that's all I got. Stevenson getting injured. Elliott's going to be playing a lot more of the ball there. Then we have Pittman, who's doing really well. Terry McLaurin, only 0 points. Injuries there. And I have Tyreek Hill. And you also notice I don't have Henry. That was my trade. Definitely won that trade. But Henry has performed remarkably well for a running back in the last 2 weeks. Could they go it forward? Yes, but I think Hill is wide receiver proof, whoever he's playing, and getting 32 points there. And the previous week I had him as well. Tank Bell, unfortunately injured now and off for the season. 0 points there. Terry McBride, 22 points. Could this be something going forward? I really hope so, because I need those extra points wherever I can, where Ekeler and now Singletary, or in theory Aaron Jones, if he comes back, would be my RB2. I need the points somewhere. And on the other side, Thomas, not getting that many points. Gardner, doing really well, 18 points, and Bakerfield having a downer day at 10 points. Cowboys against Seattle, I expected more than 3 points. I definitely did not expect -3, considering. But it is what it is. They've got a tough schedule ahead. Do I think they're going to be dropped, or am I going to look for something else? I don't think so, because the upside of always that pick 6 is always going to be there going forward. So let's see. On my bench, Geno Smith just having a blinding game for the #1 defense. And 29 points. Could have scored more. That's all it is going to cause. We'll do a quick run through of the others just to spot out the bigger scorers on the teams. So there was Mixon, expecting going forward at 28 points. Purdy having a great game at 28 points as well. Everything else, Brandon Ayuk, 15 points, good well there. And Kyra Williams coming back after some injuries. great game for him. 19 points. Expect volume for him. He's going to get there as well. And Tua, 19 points, playing well. Mostert will point him out. He's suffering from an injury. He's only got 11 points, and I expect a takeover from Ichan, running back as well, to rest him, because they need the long playoff run at the moment. So that is that for that. And on the bench, nothing really happening apart from Jake Browning doing a great game at 27 points. Didn't expect that. Could be a thing if you need someone who hasn't been picked up already. Hitman getting his victory, and not quite playoff secure yet, but Dak is, so we'll have a look at that as well. But on the bench, on the pitch, we got Sam Howell at 19 points, Hurts 23. You're pretty much starting Hurts regardless. Zach Charbonnet at 16 points, doing well there. Ronald Williams, actually, it's worth a mention. Only got 9 points, but he is definitely building for the future, and I think he's doing really well there. Jalen Warren, equally the same, with Harris injured. I think he's just going to get more and more volume there. Ingram, well, now that Christian Kirk is injured, and Trevor Lawrence is injured, I think he's going to be looked at even more if the QB situation can get a little bit settled there as well. Christian Watson getting 27 points, great for him. And Trevor Lawrence, 24 points. Is he going to play this week? I doubt it going forward, so we'll see from there. And on the bench, nothing really changing either. Let's say we're just doing quick run throughs because we're a week off anyway, and games are tomorrow. Matthew Stafford, 23 points, doing well considering what is there. And here we go, 25 points through Achan. He's just phenomenal running back at the moment, and in a good team that draws attention all over the place from the wide receivers like Hill, that the running game gets up as well. Chase, 31 points, did not expect that considering the backup QB. It'll be interesting going forward. He's always going to be looked at. If you've got him, you're starting him. That is blatantly him. Other two players that had game, Brown and Evans. Evans having, doesn't matter who is QB, he is just showing what he can do at 30 points. And AJ Brown at 19 points there, and Smith having a better game on the other side at 27 points. And nothing really else to talk of. Chicago, 108, is now 8 out of the playoffs contention, and Tampa is one step closer. We'll have a look at the percentages of what it could be. Goff at 16 points, not too bad. Carr having a bad game, only 9. Another bad game with Harris. He is playing with an injury, so I wouldn't expect anything big going forward for him. McCaffrey at 22 points. He is running back team safe. Whoever you're playing against, you're starting him if you got him in. Henry, even though he came off with concussion at 22 points, was a good trade. Actually, to be fair, you needed a running back, so it's not bad. And James Conner as well at 22 points for his flex. Doing good there as well, but unfortunately not enough to get the win. Could have got it if he used some of his bench players though, and I think that's the sad thing is. But DK Metcalf at 37 points, and in that game as well was CD Lamb at 32 points. Just massive scores by them. Hubbard 22 points, and Jordan Love having a brilliant game. Both of those in place of what they could have been. Would you have started Love over Mahomes or Goff? No, you wouldn't have seen that coming, so I can't blame him for that. But Hubbard over Harris, I probably would have, to be honest, the way that they have been, and I knew that Tampa Bay game had a great potential there. So that's what it is, but we'll see how it goes. And the last game of the week, a massive score by Cleveland Steamers, 182. And my brother-in-law, who I am playing this week for just pride, 114 points, because both of us are now in the playoffs, despite his loss. And I want to get top seed. Oh, not top seed, top seed in my division, so let's see how it goes there. Everyone's just scoring big. It's everyone you can speak of, apart from Josh Downs, if that's your weakness. But then he had Bills on a bye, then that's where Josh Allen would have sit, let's be honest. So it's just scores and scores and scores. Arish Patenko is, I think he's got great potential this week of a running back 5. He's in my top 5. Travis Etienne is coming off with injury, does look a bit battered, but seeing what's happening there. Samuel, 35 points. It's just an amazing game. Nico Collins, now a tank out. He's going to be a top 10 wide receiver, in my opinion, every time. Sam Poitier, for a tight end, he's always on the pitch and they're always looking for him at the moment. On the other side, you've got Kamara, not 28 points. Hopkins at 18, and Puka Nakua at 23, just having a blinding game. Doesn't matter, he's always coming on the pitch injured, but he seems to be getting those points at the moment. Equally, there's people on there that that might not be playing either, so let's see going forward. But that is that week. Expect some big things, but let's have a look at a league, because that's where we're more interested in now, especially where I'm filming a bit late in the week for this. So we have myself at top of the East Division, and I'd say that's really impressive, but when you look across the board, I would be 5th in the West Division, because they are definitely dominating, and 8 at 5 cuts me in the angle, especially with my points as well. But getting in the second means I get a good playoff run potentially, but then everyone is good. So the 2 players that are battling for the end game is Tampa and Oriental Lovers. Now they're the 2 interesting ones. I'm not too sure what is going to happen, but we'll find out. Seeing the teams, who do you think will get there? I think Tampa has a better team, maybe. Let's have a look at his team for this week anyway. Oh yeah, he's got McCaffrey, Lamb, the 2 DK Metcalf. He's got good all-rounders. It'd be interesting if they don't get in, because that's 2 top players that don't make it. And Oriental Lovers, I think, has quite a team, but potentially has more upside with things like Chase and Devo Smith, and definitely Justin Fields as well. I think it is very tight, and potentially Breece Hall as well. If he actually brings his game, it could make all the difference. So let's have a look who those 2 are playing specifically for this week, because that is going to determine who's in. Let's look at the playoff brackets as it is as well. So with myself, if I am where I am, I'm playing my brother-in-law, and they're saying the Tampa doesn't get through, or Tampa does get through, and Oriental Lovers does not. So, but we got one more game, and it can all shift. Because this is week 14, not a playoff week. Even though if it stands, I'd be playing Matthew or Isla Dumper the Trump in that game. So where are we looking for? They're actually playing each other, so whoever wins this game goes through. That's tight. It's going to be a really, really tough game going forward. Yeah, I'm not too sure how that is how that's going to go. And battle for last place is going on as well of Ramsgate and Chicago. We'll see how it goes. Now he had Elliott on the bench. Obviously, with Stevenson out, there was a good call there. And the game was just a close game. No one really expected that. So, Tampa and Orientals, lovers, that is the match to watch. It's going to be interesting. So let's see how that goes. I'm not too sure. My matchup is going to be a bit tight, but it's battling for pride. Obviously, I want to win it because then I can get the top of my, or secure the top of my playoffs. Or top of my division for East, and we'll just see what's going to happen. He's got Zach Moss and Puka, both two players that can score all over the place, and Kamara all over the place as well. BJ Robinson, depends on if they know how to use him. That tends to be the problem at the moment. He's great all over the place against Tampa. Has potential to be a shootout. Lamar can hit or miss with points. He can win you games. He definitely doesn't lose you games, I don't think. He's always going to score that sort of 15 points, but he can just ball out and, you know, run some running touchdowns and things like that, or just get some more running play on there. So he can go out. Geno Smith, not too sure what Geno Smith turns up. I'm hoping now for the playoff run Geno Smith and actually does well. He played Dallas last week and scored really well. He's against 49ers this week. Another tough game for him, but is he going to come through? Austin Eckler against Denver. Potentially everything shoots in the right direction, but I have no idea what is going on there. Singletary, it's a split backfield. I don't expect big scores for him, but he is against Giants, so Jets, so not too sure. Pittman, Hill, and Moore, all my wide receivers have potentially good scoring and good matchups. Hill definitely does against Tennessee. My tight end at Geno Smith, well, he's getting like 20% of the tight ends with Pitts, so I'm hoping more for the touchdown upside, and that's really it. On the bench, Aaron Jones, I don't think he's going to play, even though if he did, they'll be really good. He'd get good points against Giants, but I think they're going to rest him one more week, considering it should be a game they can win without him. Herbert, I need to see what's going to actually happen, and against Detroit, I don't expect it much out there. Obviously, got Murray and McBride, both on a bye, so I don't expect big things. I don't expect anything from them, obviously, this week, and going forward, we'll see what happens. And that is it, really. I'm not too sure what is going to happen, but we're in for a good shootout. Let's see what could happen, when it could, and everywhere else it is all really to speak of. Everyone's in the playoffs apart from this game with Tampa and Oriental lovers. Let's wish them both lucks. Let's have a good close game. I'd rather have for both of them than just one getting absolutely shot out. At least then there's a chance. Or just really throw it in the mix and go for a draw, and I'm not too sure what would happen then. I think if it was a draw, Tampa would get it, because they already have the draw rather than the 8 losses. So that is what could happen there. And no one else is sitting on 5 wins, I don't think. Oh no, Hitman could come in then, because he'd have 6. Yeah, he has a potential, because he has 6 wins, and they would have a draw. So Hitman could win if Tampa or Oriental hit a draw, but with his team completely banged up, I don't expect it. As you can see, there's a lot of injuries on the field, with Lawrence, Watson, Robinson and Hill all potentially not starting. Trevor Lawrence obviously probably more likely out than anyone else, and the rest of the bench could come off. Sekwan could completely go off, but then against Achan is the counter. Williams, I probably rate just above White. But then he's got Kelsey and Evans and AJ Brown, all much better than the counter. So yeah, I think it is unfortunately Birds to win, and then we get a draw. Let's go for that. Let's see what happens there. I doubt it, but we'll see. It'll be interesting. There's some big players on both people's teams that might not get through, so it'll be interesting there. But that is everything for myself. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll get back to Warhammer content. I just had the Heresy tournament as well, and we'll be showing up all the highlights of that. So please like, subscribe, all of that jazz. And wherever you are, hope you make it in your playoffs. If not, I hope this game can score some good points for you. And if you're battling for the Wooden Spoon, try not to win it. If you're like our Wooden Spoon, you have to pay for the trophy to be delivered, which with all us, some of us in Japan, England and the statesides, is quite a heavy trophy and could be quite expensive, depends who wins it. So I mean, currently the trophy is in stateside, so in theory whoever's in states and it comes to me or my brother-in-law, both of us will obviously want to win it, then it will be posted back to the UK. So we've got every opportunity. My team with Hill definitely much better, but I have suffered massively in my running back, especially with Henry becoming the king that we knew he always has been. Just need Eckler to perform. That's what I'm wishing for. Hope you are doing well, and like I said, please like, subscribe, all of that jazz, and have a good weekend, and we'll get more videos out soon, especially the Warhammer content. So bye for now, and happy hobbying and happy fantasy.